Stafford, AJ Green, Marquez Pope, Reggie Brown, no Sean Marino, Muhammad Massaquoi.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Herschel Talkers. Sean is out this week. He's busy. He's a working man, so he's out busy. So we're going to have Jeff, special guest Jeff, is going to come on here in a little bit. Georgia last week, another dominating performance of Vanderbilt beat them 45-14, and they rose to number 4 in the AP. Thought they looked really good. I know early in the first half had kind of took a nap on one drive where it was 21-7, but just completely dominated them. Nick Chubb had a very good game. I think they had 469 yards rushing, so very impressive performance. This week they're bringing in Missouri for homecoming. Early point spread I've seen is 30.5, so we'll talk about that coming up. But going to bring in Jeff. How you doing today, Jeff?
What's up, sucker? How you doing, Double T?
Good. Also, AK 1-800-SALT-1.
It's always there. You need the picks. You got 1-800-SALT-1, baby. I'll give you what you need.
Awesome. Yeah, just being more of a neutral fan, Jeff being more of a UNC fan, I want to get your thoughts on, since this is a Georgia-related show, get your thoughts on Georgia Bulldogs this year. What you think about them so far?
Absolutely. Well, I'll say this because, I'm as biased as they come, and I know you're the biggest homer in the business. But let me tell you, I've been all over these guys they're just – it took Kirby, it took him a year. But let me say this, because they've got unbelievable chemistry. That Fromm is just out, he just is leading this team. Easton's not being in the cancer right now, at least we could say that. But the key that makes Georgia – rock and roll is that nasty front seven. That's what makes championships in college football. You look at all the great teams, they got a loaded front seven. And that's not, that's definitely the smart influence. I mean, Granny's had great players, but he knows what to do with them, and he's got that defensive mindset. So this is just a team that's just nasty. It's got an edge. Looking at that Notre Dame game way back,
right.
Notre Dame's got 3 guys on the offensive line that are pro prospects. And Georgia did not let those guys run. Josh Adams is a damn good running back. Brandon Wimbush is a wonder kid at quarterback, and they just shut the hell of them down in South Bend,
right.
And I remember a couple weeks ago you're asking, when Mississippi State was on their high horse after they beat the shit out of LSU, blah, 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 Ed Orgeron sucks. I was like, dude, you're going to beat the shit out of Mississippi State. And you're worried about that. I said, that is a Sultan lock. What happened? Tell me what happened.
Exactly. It was a complete beatdown. You called it. Definitely. I was there in that game. I was up in the stadium. It was great.
Yep. I mean, you're like, holy shit, this is just could be the year. And then, you look at a game like Vandy. Vandy always plays the dogs tough. They always will cover the number. Georgia lets them hang around. And they just bitch slap those guys from pillar to post. They did what Alabama did to them. Vandy, you should be 1AA, baby. Nice little start you had going 3-0 playing pussies. But Georgia just bitch slapped you and just teabagged you, So I love the nastiness of what Georgia brings. And you did not tell me to say this. I'm unbiased. I know it's a Georgia show, but I've got your back, kid. This team is legit. In fact, if we, I know I'll probably jump on the gun, but I definitely think that these guys can be in the playoff. I think they're one of the 4 teams. I think they could beat Bama in a title game.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yep.
The 2 games I'm still real scared about, just being a Georgia fan and being burned over the years, is Florida, the cocktail party, just because we went in there so many times favored with the best team and we're going to snakebait there. And then I think it's going to be a really good matchup against. We're at Auburn on the Plains.
Yep.
So, and then I was going to see, do you think we can match up with Bama and hang with them in the?
I'll answer all that. I think first of all, I've been to the cocktail party. That's just a freak. If you got to go there. If folks listening, all 31 of you, if you've never been, you got to go to this thing because it is it's all the hype. Even when Georgia, Florida aren't necessarily rocking and rolling, but this year Georgia is. I mean, there's going to be a lot of say going on in that game. I think they put the beat down on Florida. I think it's just not even close. I know it's rivalry. You always got to worry about it. They come extra strong. Well, let's put it this: the SEC's top heavy, and there's a lot of shit in the SEC. And Mr. Hanky floats to the top. Georgia's going to take that shit, and they're just going to flush it down the toilet. I think it's a blowout against the Florida game. Now, like you said, The Auburn game, that is going to be super tough. On the Plains, at Auburn, rivalry. Auburn hanging with Clemson. The only reason, that offense just sucked. And poor Stidham in the second half was like a deer in headlights and just getting bitch slapped. He got, 11 sacks in that game.
Right.
They get pressure on Stidham. Now, again, he's getting his confidence. Auburn is getting their confidence. That D is just as nasty. I think that game is going to be like a 10-7 drag-out affair.
Mm.
The thing is, here's what I think happens. You're going to, so Auburn's scheduled the next 3 weeks. They're on the road, I think, at LSU, on the road, I think, at shitty Arkansas, on the road at A&M. So I think that's 3 straight road games before the Georgia game. I think they're going to be tired.
We'll beat up.
I think Georgia goes in there and wins that game. It would not surprise me. But I think because of the Troika, I think Auburn can do – I don't think Alabama's that good. I'm sorry. They beat up on the Sisters of the Poor. Florida State had that fucking game. That was just Florida State dominated the first half and just shot themselves in the ass. And then obviously the injury to Francois, the death spiral occurred. I'm not impressed with that Alabama team. I truly am not. I think Auburn at home in the Iron Bowl can beat them. I think that Georgia can definitely beat them. They match up beautifully. That defense is nasty. Hurts sucks. The passing game's not there. I mean, I think Georgia's has got much more flexibility on offense. I think they've got the tools. I think Alabama's weak. I don't think they'll make it. I'm calling it right here. I know a lot of people, all the pundits, who's going to beat Alabama? No, they're beatable. Clemson's beatable. This is like the year where you sort of wish there were 8 teams in this playoffs because I think there's just crazy crap that's going to happen for the first time. But, yeah, I think Georgia can definitely handle Alabama and beat them because, it's going to be a home game. Now, granted, Bama travels well, but I think Smart's got the chip on the shoulder. They get there. I think they lay the smack down on their candy asses. I think they definitely do it.
Nice. I like to hear that. That's awesome. Another thing is if Kirby Smart could defeat Nick Saban, it'd be the first time an assistant coach that was under him ever defeated him. He's always beaten all of his assistant coaches.
Yep, Kirby knows that fact. I'm sure Nick knows that as he's quaking his boots at 2 a.m. when he's acting like he's all cool and drinking his Coke and stuff. But Kirby knows that. Like, it's a lot of pride to have student be teacher. The stars are lining up beautifully, dude. Now again, take it one game at a time. Exactly. Don't jump the gun. I know you're a very zealous fan. But I think you got a lot to look forward to, man. I think you're going to be stoked as shit this year. I think you're going to be loving it.
Okay, great. That's great. I love to hear that. Good positive comments here.
Nothing but positive, Eddie.
Exactly. And then looking at the Missouri game, they do have a pretty good quarterback, Drew Lock. He's got 1,470 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Like to throw it around a lot. Point spread is 30.5. When I saw that earlier in the week, I'm like, wow. But they have played us close. We had to get a Jacob Eason last-minute touchdown win last year. Two years ago, I think we beat them like 9-6 in the snoozer at home. I know these are 2 different teams. They are giving up like 459 yards total offense, and I believe they're giving up, I think, around 193 yards rushing. So I feel like with Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, DeAndre Swift, we got 5 running backs. We should be able to just run through there like the Red Sea with Moses. But
how much have you watched this pussy Missouri team? Have you watched them play that much?
I've seen some highlights. I know Kentucky struggled with them last week. I do know that.
Yeah, no, that's Kentucky. All right, this is another. Kentucky's having a nice season. Don't get me wrong. I think they're definitely going to be. I think they're going to be an 8-9 win team. You're talking the Bulldogs here, all right? I've watched this Missouri team. Now, so I'm a dork. I've got, I do college fantasy football, all right? So I've got Demarius Crockett as my running back, and boy, has that guy been a pussy. I mean, this guy has been fucking a disappointment. I read articles. This guy's going to lead the SEC in rushing. Now, and he had 200 yards against East Missouri State the first week. I'll tell you what's up with that team. The coach of Missouri just sucks. He is a pile of shit. That guy. That team is soft. They don't plan well. It's not a well-coached team because when you look at Missouri, all right, here's what is a good telltale sign of how shitty coached they are. You look at them; they play Purdue at home the third week of the year. All right, they had all this hype. Now, granted, I love Jeff Brom at Purdue. I think he's doing a hell of a job, but it's a home game. Purdue comes in there, wins 35-3. All right. Now Purdue does not really stop the run well. How do you only get 3 points against a Purdue defense, which doesn't scare me or you? We can probably put Potter at quarterback, and in flag football, we could probably get 17 on Purdue. So they score 3 at home. You lay an egg. That sums up that shit team right there. So when you see 30.5, you're like, oh my God, it's a lot of points. And yeah, it's a snoozer. So you look at the schedule. Georgia has the bye next week. Now, again, granted, 2 weeks is the cocktail party. But I think this team stays focused. I think they just this defense sucks, dude. I've watched them. I mean, you just can wear them down. Like I said, you're 5 deep at running back. And the 4 and 5 guys are legit. They're going to come and run the ball down their throat. The coaching stinks. The offensive, I would not be surprised if Georgia covers that 30.5. When I first saw that, I saw the same things. Like, why is Georgia 30.5? Yeah. Oh, it's Missouri. I think they can do it.
Right.
But it could be a laugher. It could be 38-7, that 31-point win, right, or some garbage touchdown late from the scrubs.
Exactly.
But that's the beauty. When Eason comes in,
there you go.
What he wants reps. He wants to be able to somehow steal that job, which he's not because Fromm's got that team. But Eason's got to stay fresh. He's not going to sit there and sulk. I think he can jam it right down your throat just as effectively. He's got a purpose.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with all those. Yeah, speaking of that, Eason, I don't know if you follow recruiting, but last year Georgia got a huge get. Number 1 dual threat quarterback Justin Fields.
Oh, got Fields, yeah.
Picked him up Friday. So, Jeff,
what are your thoughts on that? I was going to ask you about that. That was my question for you. Do you think Eason transferred to Alabama? Do you think Fields came because he knows Eason's getting the hell out of there? Do you think that? Because why would he come?
Exactly. I do think he's going to transfer. I mean, I was really excited about the kid, but I just think this is Jake Fromm's team going forward.
It is.
And I was getting texts from a buddy predicting Washington State. He'll go back, to his home state. I've even heard my prediction. Maybe even look at Mark Rick, who recruited him, maybe going to Miami.
There you go.
So, I mean, it'd be great that he stayed, but. My only thing is, let's say he did transfer and God forbid Jake Fromm rolled an ankle or got hurt. You're back in the same boat. You got a true freshman quarterback, but this kid's supposed to be really good. Everybody's saying
number 1 overall, man. Now this guy's legit. In Georgia, you know the history, man. You guys just breed quarterbacks. You guys get them, and they want to come there for quarterback you. I mean, it speaks for itself, So I wouldn't worry about that. This Fields kid's a stud. It spoke to me that Eason's getting the hell out of there. Let's just see what type of. Will he be a bad apple sulking that he's benched, or is he going to embrace it? I think he's a good kid. I think he's going to embrace it.
Right.
He does not. Obviously, he's not happy that he got benched, because of injury, but he's going to be supportive. And again, when he comes in there, it's not like he's going to take his foot off the gas. He's pissed. He's going to come and run it up.
Exactly. I felt bad for him last week. At least maybe give him a couple of handoffs. They went out of the shotgun, dropped back. He got hit for a fumble, and they ran it down to the 1. I felt bad for him. But, not a good look for him. But, yeah, this is Jake Fromm's team going forward. Yeah,
I got 4 words for Eason. Suck it up, Cupcake. That's exactly what you got to say to him,
There you go.
Life's a bitch.
Exactly.
So what? Root your team on. You didn't mean to get hurt, but Fromm's this guy's just got the it factor. He's like Bobby Roode. He's the it factor.
He's fabulous.
So, you like the old WWE TNA reference. I'll go all over the place, man.
Hey, he's fat. Was it glorious? Is that what it is?
Yeah, glorious. Yeah, he's got the glorious DDT, which I'd love to give Potter one of these times. That'd be awesome. To make the tag to you, you do a Macho Man elbow off the top rope. 1, 2, then you pull his ass up, and then I drop an elbow on him. How about that?
Awesome. Justin's going to love that. Yeah, I want to get your thoughts. So we're midway through the season. I know we talked about Georgia early, 6-0. In your opinion, what is the best conference right now in college football?
Oh, that's a great question.
Give me your opinion. I'll tell you what mine was.
Well, you're a biased bastard. I know what your opinion is. I would say, okay. So let me pull up. I'm just going to do some research here. Okay, I'm looking at. The problem is there are a lot of conferences. Like, there's a lot of shitty teams everywhere.
Top heavy.
There's some really good teams, but you look at the Big Ten. All right, you got Penn State, Wisconsin. Wisconsin has the biggest cakewalk of a schedule, and I think they're good. And that's a sleeper team for me to be in the playoff. But you got some real douchebags, man. I mean, you got Illinois and Rutgers, Maryland's down to their 90th string quarterback. I mean, you got some bums. To me, if you look now, if you just think overall. That's the question. You're looking like who's got the best team or the overall strength of conference. Now, a conference that's got parity across the board, but I think it's going to get fucked out of the playoff because they, Big 12, they're all the same team. They're all decent, but they're not championship worthy. Right. So, but if you look at SEC, obviously you got 3 that can potentially win the title. But let's call it spade a spade, dude. The rest of that conference sucks ass. I've never seen the SEC weaker than this in my entire life.
I agree.
Of just bums. ACC, again, I love NC State. I think that at homecoming, when Clemson comes to them next month, I think NC State beats them.
I was going to ask you about that. You like that upset? A lot of people are calling
I definitely do. I called the upset Thursday. No, they own Thursday night at home, so I knew they're going to beat Louisville, but Louisville's soft. I think they come. It depends on Bryant's injury, but regardless, they had their number last year. They should have won. They choked because of shitty kicking. It could come down to a shitty kicker again, but I think Brian Finley is such a game manager. He's the most underrated quarterback. And this is coming from a Carolina fan. Like State's like little brother, so I don't hate them as much as I hate Duke. But Finley is a game manager, man. That Samuels, they just put him out in every position, and he's a mismatched nightmare. That D is nasty. That Bradley Chubb should be a top 5 pick when it's all said and done.
Why didn't he go to Georgia, man? Is it his cousin or his brother, Nick Chubb? They're related somehow.
Shoot.
They're both from Chubbtown.
I knew they were related. I'm going to say cousin. I'm not going to say brother, but I definitely know the relatedness for sure. All right, so dancing around that question, the best overall conference. You put a gun to my head.
Right.
Fuck, man. I mean, because it's the SEC is so weak. I'm going to say ACC just for the fact that the bottom teams aren't as. No, that's not true because UNC sucks. BC sucks. I'm waffling on this one, man. I still stick with ACC because at least that middle. Duke is good. Virginia is definitely a surprise. I wouldn't even say they're a surprise team. I think they get 6 or 7 wins. I think they're going to go to a bowl. I think the shittier teams in the ACC could beat crappy Tennessee, which Butch Jones, they just need to fire him now.
Yeah.
Arkansas sucks. I think the bottom feeders of the ACC could wreak havoc in the bottom feeders on the SEC. And then the Big Ten's bottom feeders just really suck. But overall balance, I give it to Big 12. But again, it's not like any of these teams are going to do any damage in a playoff.
Yeah, definitely.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely agree with that. The reason here's my team. Here's the conference. I would say it's probably surprising here. I'm going to say Big 12, and the only reason why I did local research last night, they have 5 in the top 25. I'm going by that, top to bottom, so it's a good mix. ACC or SEC does have 3 in the top 10, but that's after that, like you said, the bottom of it's terrible.
Yep.
And I think hands down last year, ACC was the best conference. I believe 8-3 in bowl games, won the national title, and they had the Heisman Trophy winner with Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
So, but believe they only have 4 this year, ACC. So right now, top to bottom, just because of the mix, I'm gonna go with Big 12. But
we see eye to eye because you're asking best overall, and yes, best overall. They've got 7 teams that are all about the same, and then of course you got Baylor and Kansas that suck, but Iowa State's not bad. Now, granted, they should have gone into Norman, and Oklahoma always lays a freaking egg every damn year. Right. That's Bob Stoops football to his T. He's the most overrated coach of all time, and now they got Lincoln Riley in there, following in his wonderful, glorious footsteps. So pulling the same crap. So, but yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Big 12 overall, top to bottom, is the best probably, but they won't do any damage.
So I know. Jeff likes to, every now and then do a little betting, a little gambling, and got a question from the Twitter here. The Twitter. Well, why do you like to bet early in the season compared to midway or later in the season for college football?
It's a great question. Early on, the key is if you do your homework. And again, my specialty when I look at this stuff, I look at the bullshit conferences that no one really cares about, like the Sun Belt, Con USA. The MAC.
Hey, like Ball State, Marshall.
Yeah, Ball State, Louisiana Monroe. I have a big laugher release tonight, the Troy, South Alabama. So what happens with that is like, who in their right mind wants to fucking bet those games? Exactly. So Vegas won't get those lines right on those conferences because they don't really know what the hell's going on. So if you know those teams and know the quarterbacks or know how many seniors, you do your diligence. You can jump early and pound it because, again, who in their right mind knows this stuff? Or you pick teams like, again, not necessarily conference specific, but again, like Central Florida is a great example. If you know that Scott Frost is this up and coming coach, and they've got all their guys back, they're undefeated against the number right now. And, Vegas does not have a clue how to, to do their spreads, So usually, like, I like to be a street buster and say, all right, a team is undefeated against the spread. Don't take, go the other way. Now, in college football, when a team is on fire, you keep taking them until they lose. Central Florida, they're a very big sleeper that could somehow, I don't say college football playoff. It was 8 teams for sure. But I think they get in that, the group of 6 over San Diego State. I think they go undefeated. They're legitimate. I mean, that team, and Scott Frost is going to write his own check. Someone's going to overpay for his fat ass. It's a matter, does he go back to Nebraska when they fire, Mike Riley out of there and go back home to, where he went to college? Or does he take Tennessee and go to the SEC and get way overpaid? And another shitty another coach is an improper fit for Tennessee and they suck for another 4 years? Or, does he go LSU if they kick Orgeron out? I mean, he's going to have a lot of good jobs to go to, But, yeah, it's just a matter of looking at teams that people just are under the radar but have a lot of seniors and have depth. Like I said, Virginia was one of those teams. They've got a senior quarterback, Benkert. People are writing them off. They're a 14-point underdog at Boise, but I had them on the money line. Easy winner. You go to the blue turf and put their balls on that Bronco logo. Fantastic. So that's how you. So you can look at conference. You look at teams that people think, they sucked last year, but they bring back a lot of experience, and you jump on like Tulane right now. Tulane is 4-1 against the spread. Who in the right mind thinks Tulane's going to be any good? Well, they have a coach, second year in the program. They've got a great running back. It's Dalton Hilliard's kid. And they just, people think, it's Tulane, they're going to suck every year. Well, you know what? They're actually good. Notre Dame this year, same thing. Brian Kelly may be on the way out. Nope. Wimbush is good. Adams is good. And they cover, except, for the Georgia game. Yeah. So, and then Georgia, they covered every freaking game but one. What game didn't they cover? I'm trying to think. Which one?
I don't think there was one for the Samford game. It wasn't even the spread, I don't think. I'll look for it.
Yeah, that's it. It's the bullshit Samford game. It's the only game. Everyone else, they smacked around. I was going to say, I thought they were undefeated, but yeah, they didn't cover the Samford. Which makes sense. They didn't really give a shit, and they put the scrubs in.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of that, being UNC fan, is it Fedora's dead man walking? Do you think he's done? Are you ready for a change? What do you think?
That's a great question. And I was just talking with a couple goons in the office, and we had I forget the dude's name because I'm never good on like recruits coming in, but I was stoked because we had this 4-star quarterback coming in from Arizona. And literally on Monday, I was talking about this with a South Carolina fan. It's like, the season sucks, but at least we got this guy coming in. So I've got there's a young kid from UNC, I try to mentor him at work. But he's a big biased bastard. It's unbelievable. This guy's delusional. But I go talk to him about the Arizona guy. It's like, no, dude, he decommitted. I'm like, oh, fuck. What that says to me is the writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
I love Fedora. Don't get me wrong. The guy, first of all, in terms of coach, he's got the gun show going. The guy's ripped to shreds. I love his energy. He's a good offensive mind, but you know what? The defense has sucked shit under his realm for I think this is his 6th year. For the years he's been there, if you could take the I'm going back a long way because I'm an old man. You take the 90s defenses at UNC with the good offense from Carolina when they had the talent, then that team would be a top 3 team. The problem is the bullshit heels can never piece it together. So I think Fedora, if he's smart, he's going to get, because of all the injuries, we got 13 guys out for the year, but, Trubisky leaving fucked us. Now, great, I love seeing him in Chicago. He had to leave. He's the number 2 overall pick. That dumbass Elijah Hood leaves, and he's freaking a 7th-round pick of Oakland, and now he's sitting there probably, making copies at freaking, Office Depot or something. A freaking idiot left early, and if he stayed, he could have been like a 1,500-yard rusher.
Right.
So now you've got, and then, of course, the telltale sign, and you'll laugh at this. There's a reason why if Brandon Harris can't play at UNC, he sucks that bad, man. You transfer to go to UNC and thinking you could start. That guy, if you won't even play at UNC, you suck. So
that's how bad he was at LSU. Couldn't throw
the
ball.
Yes, because the freaking Purdue transfer beats him out, too, with Danny Epling, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. So when people were thinking Brandon Harris is a savior, you're delusional. So 13 guys out for the year, all year, and all our receivers are gone. But Now from our bums, 3 of those guys are out for the year. So it's like the Giants. Who are you going to throw the ball to? Chaz Surratt, bless his heart, man, to say the Southern quote, but he throws the ball like Lamar and the Revenge of the Nerds throws a javelin, dude. That's fluttering all over the fucking place. That defense, the defense is showing a lot of heart. I got to give them credit, but this team sucks. So for Dora, he'll get the hall pass because it's injury related, but he's gonna do the old Texas 2-step out of the year, and that's where he may go to. Watch him for Tennessee,
really,
because he could go there. He's got the hall pass, and then someone who inherits UNC is going to eat shit. This team is fucked for a while, man. As much as I love my boys, I'm so unbiased. They've got nothing in the tank, man. Yeah, so he's going to greener pastures for sure. But you know where he'd be a great offensive coordinator for a top 10 team. That's where he should go.
Right.
He should go to like FSU and be their coordinator because God knows the assistants on FSU suck balls.
He'd go to Alabama and be under Saban, win some.
Dude, it'd be amazing. He goes there. He's a stud. He is an offensive genius, and he recruits, and he is a mastermind there. So that's what he needs to do, is just sit back, rewrite your resume, dominate on a great team, and then pick and choose, you know. So, yeah, I think he's going after this year. But he's not forced out. It's because he's smart and sees the writing on the wall.
Yes, speaking of that, because I was reading on Twitter, he's always taking jabs at him. How's Lane Kiffin doing at Florida? I haven't even paid attention to Florida Atlantic.
Dude, it's the fucking Con USA, man. I mean, come on now. I mean, FAU. I think the FAU off the top of my head. FAU is I think they're 500. I think I'm looking right now. They're leading the East of Con USA. Ooh, that's a tough. You know, that's really saying something.
Yeah, 3-3.
Fucking, they're awful. I mean, ODU. They went and beat ODU. Wow, ODU is really good. Okay, they beat Middle Tennessee at home. Middle Tennessee's got their backup, and then Richie James, who's this sleeper receiver who's going to get drafted, he's been out. Boy, that's a real tough victory. You know, you go to Buffalo and you lose to Buffalo. Now, granted, Buffalo's 6-0 against the number. All right, but you lose to Buffalo at Buffalo. Wow. What their claim to fame is they hung with Wisconsin at Wisconsin, but Wisconsin probably had to thumb up their ass. They didn't, they didn't know what was going on. You know, they didn't really care. So no, Florida Atlantic stuff. Lane Kiffin's a pussy. I mean, come on.
All right. All right. Well, since we're midway point, do want to get right now, gun to your head, if you had to pick, what would be the 4 playoff teams? And go.
Yeah, let's do that. Yep, I'll do the 4 teams. I knew you were going to ask me that. So I'm going to take some stretches here. I'm going to take some reaches. All right.
Yeah, that makes it good. Yeah.
I'm going to say, because I'm not sure. Yeah, like I told you earlier, I think Alabama and Clemson are definitely beatable. I think that in the SEC title game, it's going to be Georgia-Bama. Even if Auburn does beat Bama, Auburn's going to trip up on one of these 3 road games, all right? I think Georgia beats them. I think Georgia's in the playoff, all right? You heard it here first. Done. All right, they're in there. I don't think Georgia gets tripped up. Even the loss to Auburn doesn't matter because as long as they take care of business in that title game, they're in. So there's one. I think number 2, this is where it gets dicey. Notre Dame plays a lot into a lot of people's plans. They have a tough schedule the rest of the way. So NC State, Pitt sucks on the road, but they're at Notre Dame in 2 weeks. And that's the trap game because Clemson's the week after. All right, so you got to go to the Irish and then Clemson. If they can go and beat Notre Dame, which, the Notre Dame passing offense hasn't been there. I know Wimbush is mobile, but again, they bitch-slapped Lamar Jackson and made him shit in his pants. The problem is Notre Dame's got a really good line.
Yeah, they do.
But, it's tough to say I can go into – I mean, Georgia's got – here's what they need to do. Dave Doran needs to call Kirby and say, hey, what's the blueprint to beat these guys in South Bend? I would not – I would like to think they can go and beat Notre Dame there. The problem with NC State is they lost to those shithead Gamecocks for no reason in a game they dominated.
You know what all those Georgia fans did? They punched Rudy in the mouth, and then slapped all the Catholics around. That's how we beat them. Took over the stadium. We had more fans than they did. Anyway, sorry.
Absolutely, that was freaking fantastic. Now, did you go to that game or no?
No, I didn't.
Dude, you got to get there to South Bend, baby. But you guys did represent. It was awesome to watch that game.
Exactly.
The only reason I would not say State would be in the playoff, and I know this is delusional. The problem is that loss to South Carolina, they can't afford to lose at Notre Dame. Is the problem. So things contingent, because I am very strong in them beating Clemson. That's going to be the first time game day's ever been to Raleigh if things hold suit. And God knows why would they want to see a bunch of rednecks in Raleigh. I don't know, but this will be
How's that
the game of the
tailgate there?
millennium.
Terrible?
What was that?
How's the tailgate there in Raleigh? Terrible?
No, I got to say, no. The tailgating there is great. People will party. You go to NC State for a tailgate, because the beauty is it's an off-campus stadium. They got plenty of room. Problem is all these rednecks get drunk as shit, and you're going to get fights before the game or passed out. But it's fun as hell, man. They'll get rowdy. Like that game against Louisville, that crowd was loud as shit. I have no doubts they beat Clemson. I do have doubts they beat Notre Dame. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I'll say this. The winner of the Clemson State game will make the playoff, because the other division of the ACC, the Coastal, sucks. So whether it's State, and I'd like to say it would be State, it would be great to say that's different. I'm going to hold, fuck that, I'll say State. But the winner of the State Clemson game will advance. So there's number 2. Number 3, I'm going to the Pac-12, and I'm going to say the winner of the Apple Cup, the Washington State game, which I think Washington State's been a nice little story. I mean, their D-line's good. And who doesn't love the Pirate? I mean, Mike Leach is fucking hilarious when you listen to his rants. But I think you go to that last game of the season. I'm just going to double check here. I'm pretty sure the game is out. It's in Seattle, which is a huge home field. It is. So the only trip-up game for Washington is at Stanford. Bryce Love is running all over the place, and, he's definitely a long shot for Heisman, but he's killing it. I think Washington State can run through the table. I think USC is a little on the soft side. I know Darnold has not gotten rolling. He's been overrated this year. I mean, he's going to be a good pro player. Don't get me wrong. He's still raw. He's throwing too many picks. I think Washington, the winner of the Apple Cup game, will make the playoff. I'm calling Washington as Team 3. Team 4, let's go to the Big Ten. And this is the surprise we're going to go with. And I'm going to be a little bit of a homer here. So now, the biggest Christmas present schedule is Wisconsin. They don't have to play Penn State. They don't have to play Ohio State. They go rolling in. They play Michigan at home. The only trip-up game is going to be the rivalry game to end the year against the Golden Gophers and, Fleck rowing the boat. I think they're going to take that oar and jam it up his ass. So they're going to be undefeated going into that game. But here's my thing.
Wisconsin, wow. I feel like I'm doing an NCAA basketball bracket.
Hold on a second. Let me play it out. So they're going to be undefeated going into the title game because, again, they're the benefactors of just an easy schedule. Ohio State, now, I think Penn State rolls in there, and I hate the Buckeyes. But they've got 2 weeks to prepare for Penn State. I think Penn State, they're going to get revenge, exact revenge, and beat Penn State. But my homer pick, here you go, is Michigan is going to beat them at Ann Arbor. Is all this Harbaugh shit? John O'Korn sucks. I would love to see them win. I think they've got a nasty D, but O'Korn, Spate sucked before anyways, like he wasn't playing well. That Michigan State, John O'Korn, really, what the fuck, man? As a Michigan fan, you're like, geez. But I'm going to be a little biased. Say they knock off the Buckeyes. That gives them their second loss. So even if the Buckeyes with 2 losses do beat Wisconsin, I could still see Wisconsin barreling in with 1 loss. Because that's not a bad loss. Because now from the outside looking in, let's talk Big 12. The team that no one's talking about is Oklahoma State.
Yep.
I think
the mullet.
TCU's got to go to Oklahoma, so that's going to be a loss there. But the Bedlam game is in Oklahoma State, so I think you got 3 teams with 1 loss. So I'm not sure the tiebreaker. So, but if Oklahoma State gets that title game with 1 loss, I think here's the caveat. If Wisconsin loses, then I think the Big 12 and Oklahoma State has a good shot at getting in. I'm not saying TCU. I think Oklahoma State would win the rematch. So Oklahoma State could be that sneaky 4th team. However, Wisconsin, benefactor of that shit schedule, shows up that 1 game in Indy, I think they're that 4th team because they'll be undefeated. And you'll be like, wow, why are these guys in? Well, you know what? Merry Christmas. But they did what they had to do. They beat everyone, and they beat the 1 team from the East that got there. So those are my 4. I'm going to say Georgia, Washington wins the Apple Cup. I'm going to say Wisconsin. You're going to show up that 1 game. And then the winner of State Clemson. But ideally, I'd like to see State. And imagine that. You got 4 teams like that. How many people would pick that right in brackets, man? 0.0,
Exactly. Somebody's losing some money.
Yep, so we lose some money. So what are you for? What do you think?
I'm going to go with Joe Public here. It's not really as exciting as that, but just looking at it, I'm going to go Bama because it's Bama. They've been there before. Clemson. I'm going to go Washington because they got a cakewalk. I guess my little sleeper, just because they got a good defense and he's playing really well, Kenny Hill. I like TCU.
You like TCU? Yeah, I mean, they're solid. They're doing what they got to do. I agree. I just think that Oklahoma game is going to trip them up.
I agree.
And they got back-to-back games. And then Texas Tech, I got to say this. Kingsbury has saved his job potentially because their D is actually playing a little nasty this year. They're actually stepping up and playing some D. So, and again, they got to go to I-State. And don't be surprised this week. They got to play at K-State, So it's since all these teams are about the same and they're all not fantastic, these road games, that's the problem. They're going to get tripped up. I can believe it. If they can get through it, yes. But I don't think they get through without a loss. And again, the thing, do they win the title game? So then you got to say, well, one loss, Big 12, get involved, and they'll look at, again, they'll look at the balances there. You're gonna have there's going to be a lot of discussion this year. I think it's going to be crazy. Right. And again, don't sleep on Central Florida, because people, I think the key pick from the group of 6 was South Florida early in the year with Quentin Flowers, but he's looked like shit. And at the end of the season, in that rivalry game, Central Florida hosts South Florida at home. I'm looking at their schedule now. Do you think where UCF could get tripped up is at Navy? And that's in 2 weeks. Outside of that, I mean, SMU is very much improved. They have to go there, but they play vaginas. So when they get to USF, I think they spank them, and then they have to play the winner of the West, which may be a rematch with Navy. Maybe, they already bitch slapped Memphis. I mean, so they could go undefeated. Will an undefeated UCF get in that discussion? And then you got to look at San Diego State. I don't think they go undefeated. I know they're 6-0 now. I'm going to pop their schedule open real quick.
Didn't you see it? They didn't win a game a couple years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, they had the Bortles year that they went and beat Baylor. He leaves. They go in 12. And then freaking what's his name? I'm blanking on the coach. He leaves. But old Georgia Tech and Notre Dame coach George O'Leary.
Oh yeah.
But Frost comes in, and again, you build from an 0-12, and that's why he's looking good. He's taking an 0-12 program in 2 years and making them almost – they could be undefeated. So that's why he can write his own check. But San Diego State, they got Boise at home. I'm looking at their shit schedule. They've got nothing to trip them up because they have home with Fresno, at Hawaii. Hawaii ain't going to scare them. San Jose State, high school teams are better than them. Nevada blows ass this year. And New Mexico, Rocky Long used to coach them. So – that's going to be an interesting thing. Which of the group of 6 teams between UCF and San Diego State, if they stay undefeated, who's going to get the nod? Because both of them could potentially be undefeated. Their schedules are not scary, but the beauty of college football, my friend, is just when you think you've got the answers, they change the questions. Roddy Piper. That's the quote.
Nice.
So, yes.
All right. Great information there. We're going to jump into the slate of games. I'll do some rapid fire for Jeff here. Not the great, as he said earlier, not the greatest set of games. But it's going to start off in the SEC.
Yep.
We got South Carolina at Knoxville with Butch Jones on the smoking hot seat, -3.
Yep.
Who you like in that one?
Now, see, here's the thing. So with that South Carolina kid, so one of the young kids I was talking to, I'm a biased South Carolina fan, and I've got a wager. And I thought I was going to win this shit, and this kid's going to win. So basically, he had 7 wins as a push. So if they get 8, I owe the kid $100. And then, we had a delusional kicker, because he's so delusional. If they win 10 games, I give him an extra 100. And then if they win 4, I get an extra 50. That bullshit La Tech drive down for a field goal when they beat them, and that horseshit NC State victory puts them at 4 wins. Now, you look at that shit SEC schedule. They got Vandy at home. They can play Wofford. They play Florida, which they can beat. Now, granted, they're not going to beat Georgia. They're not going to beat Clemson. But you know what's going to happen? And it's going to really piss me off is that locker room, for the team that's winning in life. The dumbest fucking quote I think I've ever seen I don't know why they didn't shit can him last year when they said we're winning at life. What
5-star
fucking
hearts.
type of bull? What were your thoughts on that? Seriously, was that the biggest pussy statement out of a coach you've ever heard?
Sounds like a used car salesman trying to be inspirational. Yes.
Oh my God! Inspire my cock. How about that? You get 41-0 drubbed at home, and that locker room. I think there's been people like one dude I was reading. I don't know the guy's name, but I think on Twitter he retweeted like they're talking about who the worst coach in college football is, and he retweeted Butch Jones,
right?
The guy in his own team, man. So that locker room is gone.
They're going with the backup quarterback too. They got Guantano is playing this week.
As much as I hate this, as much as I fucking hate this, dude, you can't take Tennessee. Yeah. You got to take the Cox plus the 3.
Nice.
I think the better player to say the under. I think both teams suck balls, and I'd go under 49. But if you put a guy, there's no right. Tennessee, it's my dick theory. Tennessee shouldn't be 3 over my dick right now. They're terrible. They're terrible. They've lost the locker room. They just don't care. They're going to show no heart. At least the Cox have heart. So they're going to show up and play with pride, and they'll win as much as it pains me.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I agree with you, too. I like South Carolina. Tennessee just got too many problems in the locker room, even though it's at Knoxville.
Yep.
Next one is going to be Auburn -7 at LSU. No night game.
I
call him Waterboy at Orgeron.
It's a tough one. Now, see, Ed Orgeron reminds me of Bunting, when the former Carolina UNC coach. He's a great guy. He's a great energy guy, but man, that guy can't coach to save a fucking lick. And you know what? Here's who I want to meet, or here's who I want on my staff. I want the agent that negotiated Ed Orgeron's contract. $12 million buyout for that guy? Yes, holy fuck, man! For Ed Orgeron, hats off. That guy earned his keep to get. You got to pay Ed Orgeron $12 million to fire him. Les Miles is sitting there laughing his ass off. But I will say this. They play hard for him. He's a gutty guy. Everyone loves him. And he's honest. You've heard his radio show. Like, it's funny. Like, fans will rip him, and he says, he gets it. Like, he's a real dude, and you want to see him do well. He's just rock stupid and a shitty coach. Auburn goes in there, and I'm going to say this. Like, I just read these articles today that, Gus Malzahn has transformed himself. He's lucky as shit, dude, because he should be fired after this year. Like, if it wasn't for these guys playing well recently, I think they should can him. I don't think he's a good coach. I think the D is great. The offense, this offensive genius. Where's the offense been since Cam Newton? It hasn't been there. Exactly. But Auburn, that D is good. LSU, Geis is still gimpy. He played a little bit last week. 7 is a lot. Again, this is a stretch of 3 on the road for Auburn. Auburn knows that they can get back in the discussion for the SEC title and for the playoff. I don't like it, but this is a gun to my head. I will say that LSU just doesn't bring it offensively. I think when push comes to shove, I would, for entertainment purposes only. Well, that line, if it fluctuates to 6.5, that's going to be right on that 7. I would say take Auburn. 7.5. You make sure you pay whatever you need to buy that hook, my friends. Always buy that hook. I think that game falls right on the number, but I would take Auburn. I would in that game.
I'm all over Joe Public on this one. I like Auburn all day, every day. The reason why it's matching up the teams, Mississippi State smacked LSU in the mouth. I know it was at home with the Cowbells, 37-7. And then, 2 weeks ago, I believe it is, Auburn blew out Mississippi State. Just looking at that, and I just think LSU.
It's tough to do the transitive property in sports, though, because again, every Saturday something's different. So this team beat this team, and this team should beat them now. So be careful. That's why they play every Saturday. But I agree. On paper, they should whip their ass. You would think.
Exactly. Next one up is Red River Shootout. Oklahoma -7.5 at Texas. Oklahoma coming off that terrible loss against Iowa State with a backup quarterback.
Oh my God! Like again. Oklahoma, what team are you? Baker Mayfield puts that flag, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the moxie of that kid. I hate Ohio State. I love they put that flag in that. I was laughing my ass off. I was loving it. And then, I love that kid. Then the kid from Iowa puts that, he calmly goes to the midfield, has the Iowa State flag, goes nice. But I think, this Mayfield kid, I really do like. I think last week, if you watched the game footage, he was just trying to be too special. All the people were open. He just wanted to make the big play. I think he learned the hard way that you don't have to be a superstar. Just lead your team. You've got the locker room. You can lead. You've got heart, kid. Now it doesn't have to be on your back though. Just make the open play and not the glorious play.
Glorious.
Texas, yes, I love. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm biased to Bobby Roode, dude. But 7.5. For one thing, either way, buy the hook, get that hook out of there. Texas, I'm not sold on them.
You like
I know
Tom
they
Herman
played
as a
USC tough. I know they played Kansas State tough. You still do. They've got it. Bouchel's not playing the backup. Has been playing well, and he seems to have the locker room. And I know it's the rivalry, but I think timing is really bad on this one. And Texas is 4-1 against the spread. I will say, they've been playing really well. They beat Iowa State. I watched that game because I liked Iowa State plus the 5 at home. And, I was like, God, this game sucks ass. I think that Oklahoma will go in. They realize, you know what, we sleptwalk. I think they take care of business. And I think they put the dick in the dirt on Texas. I take Oklahoma. And I normally like the points, and it's a lot of points in rivalry, but I think Oklahoma comes out.
Gotcha. Great.
What do you like? You like Texas, I bet.
I keep hearing Texas defense is much improved, and that was a bad loss last week. And I'm still waiting for Tom Herman to get a big win. So I like maybe Texas in that one, but that'd be one of those. Definitely stay away if I was betting. That'd be one. Of those
Absolutely, yeah. You just asked me. I definitely wouldn't touch it. I think it smells like shit.
All right, next one. I believe we got 2 more here. Hey, Georgia Tech, the North Avenue Nerds, as I like to call them, at Miami. St. Rick, Mark Rick, ex-Georgia coach, -6.
Love this one. All right. So
it seems like Tech hadn't played in a while. They had a bye week and a hurricane delay. They hadn't played in a while, like 3 weeks.
So you got Miami coming off that emotional rivalry game where they pulled bullshit at the end. I think Rozier, he sucks as a quarterback. But it shows how awfully coached FSU is. That championship defense of FSU let Miami march 85 yards down the field in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Where's the heart, FSU? It's not there. But hats off, Miami exercised the demons. I do like Rick. But here's the fallout from that game. That was a brutal, and I mean brutal physical game. That Miami defense was on the field a shit ton. Mark Walton out for the year, so in comes that Homer cat coming in. Now, granted, he's good. He's definitely good, but he's a little slight. Hopefully, Georgia Tech will put a body on fucking Barrios. FSU left that asshole open all game. I mean, that's more to shitty coaching. But Georgia Tech on the bye. Georgia Tech, 4-0 ATS. You make it 5-0. It's 6.5. You buy that 7. Hell, take them on the money line. Miami sucks balls. Georgia Tech, the rambling wreck to the bank, baby.
Exactly. I love that. That was almost Trey's dog of the week, but I do like that one. If I was betting, I like Tech all day. It's hard to stop that.
Oh God, I need
Triple X.
Everyone who's listening, 8 option and take Miami, Florida. Trey's dog of the week is Georgia Tech. You've heard it. Go the other way, baby, dog.
All right. I'm not a big Tech fan, but man, early in the year, it's tricky on that triple option. It's tricky to have a defense get ready for it. Even though Rick does have 15 years of experience, so we'll give that because he played them every year.
Yep.
Next one is going to be, look, this is a 7:30 game, ABC. Utah at USC, USC -12.5.
That is a lot of points. You've got a banged up USC team. Now, my college fantasy being a dork again. I got Deontay Burnett, the stud wide receiver for USC. He practiced very limitedly today. Without them, the receiving options. Now, granted, they did throw the ball last week to other guys. Burnett didn't have shit last week, but they also had, they took advantage of. They took advantage of playing the freaking Sisters of the Poor, the Beavers, to try and develop the other guys, But this is Utah. Utah they never get respect. They played Stanford tough at home. They're a great home team, naturally. But this year against the number, they are undefeated against the number. Vegas, what the fuck are you doing? 12.5. You're giving the respect to the Trojan name. And you know what? All Utah does is cover. That is way too many points. The Trojan D is not good. You got a dynamic quarterback for Utah. 12 and a hook all day, baby. Take the running Utes.
I like that, too. I didn't really do much research on this one. I just liked because it was the ABC game. So, yeah, I'll go with you with Utah on points on that one. But I believe USC should win, but take Utah to cover.
Yep, I think that's right on.
And last but not least, Trey, 4-1. 4-1 covered last week with NC State. in the points last week on Thursday Night Special. So this week, dog of the week.
What do you got?
I got Texas A&M +3 on the road at Florida, smacking around Swamp Donkey McElwain. They got a terrible quarterback, Felipe Franks. Texas A&M coming off played Bama close, made Bama look human. I like Texas A&M +3 on the road, putting Georgia up 2 games, getting ready for the cocktail party.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, again, it's the cocktail party coming up. No, I agree with you. A&M, since that massive choke against UCLA, which they've come out and played with heart, they're pretty physical. But again, I think A&M just exposed Bama for a fraud too. So that's the same thing. They played well, but Bama's not as good. I just don't. I just don't get a gauge of this Florida team. I just think they really suck. So if you put a gun to my head, like I said, I would lay off personally. But yeah, I mean, I would. It's my dick theory of Florida. They're not 3 over my dick right now either. I'd go with you on A&M.
I like it. Hey, and speaking of that, do you think I call him Swamp Donkey, Jim McElwain?
Oh,
You think he might be done next year? They're not happy in Florida. He could be looking at 8-4, 7-5.
You know what? Let's connect the dots here. This would be a great opportunity. I mean, the offense has been so bad. This is where you get a Fedora and get him to be the offensive coordinator there. Talk about that. That would be very interesting. I mean, Malik Zaire sucks. They're just, I don't know I don't know what's happened that the recruiting for Florida has been so shitty.
He's supposed to be an offensive coordinator guru too,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't get what's going on. I mean, because South Florida's getting the guys. I mean, Central Florida's getting the guys. Florida State always gets them, but there's plenty of guys to go around. But yeah, I don't know what the hell's up his ass. He's just not the right. I think that he's on very thin ice, but I think they fired the coordinator because I don't think he's calling the plays. Correct? They have a coordinator.
That's right.
The coordinator sucks. I think this would be the time to pay a bunch of money and get a Fedora. I think this would be all right, dude. You stay. But it's like Brian Kelly-esque. You fire a ton of your staff. It's one of those come to Jesus or else you're getting the hell out of here type of things.
Yeah, his defense has always been really good, but his offense has struggled. But he did win the East. I know it was pretty much sacrificial lamb for Bama in the SEC championship game, but he had won the East the last 2 years. So Florida fans, but I think they're looking for they've waited and waited looking for a really good offense. So yeah.
Hey, I'll give you an analogy in a different sport, my friend. My beloved Red Sox. John Farrell, 3 straight years winning fucking the AL East. Shit can't him because he can't get past the ALDS. Or same thing with your Bulldogs. Rick, 10 games every year.
Exactly.
You know what? We're sick of it. We just need a new voice. Now, Rick, I love Rick as a coach, and that's a ballsy move. But I think as you look, and right now the energy's different. It's just a different voice. So you never know. Just because you win the East, again, the East is the sisters of the poor. It's not like it's really saying anything.
School of the Blind. School of the Blind.
What's that?
School of the Blind, I like to call them.
Yeah, School of the Blind, exactly. So it's not like it's saying anything to win the East. Hell, Missouri's won the East, dude. So it's like,
exactly.
What is the Florida standard? What's our brand? And no, I think it's, they don't fire them, but I think it's the clean house. I think, and getting an offensive coordinator that really re-energizes, because people are sick of seeing Florida just eat ass. But they're gutty. I mean, they've come back in that Kentucky game. They definitely have fight in them, so they don't give up on it. But they just something's missing.
But you had to do a Hail Mary to beat a terrible Tennessee team, right? Not
you sure did. You sure did. So that's why lock of the week, your dog of the week is A&M. Just on that alone, yeah, that's why I go with it. You're right.
Awesome. All right, Jeff. Well, that's anything you got to get off your chest at the end here. Anything you want to leave us with?
Well, I was going to say 8:00 tonight. Okay. For those that do partake, the Sun Belt Laugher of the year, Troy. -17 against South Alabama. Take that to the bank, baby. The Jaguars suck completely. Take Troy all the way. Woo!
1-800-SALT-1.
That's it. 1-800-SALT-1. That's 1-800-SALT-1.
Hey, Troy. Hey, the brother. What is it? The men of Troy taking out LSU at Baton Rouge in a night game 2 weeks ago. Even better.
Absolutely. They play Boise tough, up there in the blue turf. So, I mean, these guys are legit. The Silvers is a good quarterback. They got a great coach. South Alabama, packs it smaller than Potter's penis. I mean, it's unbelievable. They got nothing. 16.5, easy. Don't even worry about that. So, in conclusion, Bo, thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah.
I got to bust your balls. Why the fuck weren't you in the Nasty Nine? Weren't you going to take that tiny ball sack of yours, enter this pool? We got up to 32 people, dude. And, everyone's picking like shit. But you've got this freaking, comfy, this comfy, podcast you're doing.
Right. Yeah, I'm
And it's
scared,
good.
man.
I'm 32
recovering.
other people, which, where the fuck are you, man? You're scared. You're running scared. So I'm throwing down the gauntlet, pussy. Make sure you're in next year, Double T, because we want to have you. And you know what?
Stressful,
take out that wallet. I know the mouths are going to fly out when you see those dollar bill, those $100 bills are going to probably moth eaten. But come in. I want you in next year, because if you're having a podcast, it's time to put your big boy pants on, take off that diaper, and come on in. All right?
Man, it was stressful. The 1 year, Justin, I call him Turbo, or Potter, and I did it. We were scraping and clawing not to get last place for that extra 100. I'm like, man, this is stressful. So
it is. Oh, dude, it's a grind, but it's amazing. It's like around the office and that. It's truly fun just to see the dynamic and the strategies that people have.
Exactly. And
people just pan. Oh, it's just great, dude. Just for that alone. Now again, here's the funny thing: people are so pessimistic because if you go 0-9, you'll double the money.
Yeah.
People never think, hey, I'm going to go 9-0. They always think of the negative. I'm like, my God, this society is so fucked up where you think of only negative and not the positive crap that you can go and dominate. But, again, you've got this podcast. You better bring it next year. I'm giving you the rock sign right now. Just bring it. And if not, I'm going to freaking rock bottom you right through the fucking concrete, dude. And then I'm going to make the tag to Potter, and he'll do nothing. He can't do anything. But.
Awesome. Yeah,
thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jeff, and we'll post that tomorrow for everyone to see. And thanks for another edition of Herschel Talkers. And I hope possibly next week we'll be on. We're thinking about maybe taking a bye week, but Trey and Sean and Todd are rolling down to Jacksonville. Hey, and the dogs are coming 7-0, rolling down to Jacksonville for the cocktail party. And we're out.
Can you dig that?
I can dig it.